Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review. Holmes is solving his first murder mystery. He and Watson go to a place called Boscombe Valley. It's in the country. The victim is Charles McCarthy, who owns most of the land here. McCarthy was friends with John Turner. They were both Australian, and Turner lets McCarthy live on the land rent-free. It's expected their children will be married someday soon. McCarthy was hunting alone when his son arrived unexpectedly. The two of them got into an argument, and the son left. The son claims he heard his father cry out in pain. He rushed back to find his father murdered. Naturally, the police were suspicious when the son showed up covered in the blood of a man he just argued with. Holmes is inclined to believe the son is telling the truth, because if he's not, he's a really incompetent liar who's making up weird things for no reason. For instance, he says he saw the culprit's gray cloak when he went to the crime scene. When he left, the cloak was gone. The culprit took the cloak while his back was turned. Holmes indicates the cloak may be a big clue which will be important later. It's not. It's a random red herring. It's totally unimportant that the killer entered and left the crime scene while the son was there. Holmes points out two other clues which are important. First, the father cried cooee, which is the usual signal between him and his son. Why would the father call for his son when he thought his son was out of town? Holmes mentions this several times. The mystery solution depends on readers knowing what cooee means. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So, the mystery solution was impossible for me. It made me not like this mystery. The second clue that Holmes notices is the victim's last words were something, a rat. What do rats have to do with the case? Miss Turner loves the son. She wants his innocence to be proven. She's asked Police Inspector Lestrade to help, which marks Lestrade's first appearance in the Sherlock Holmes short stories. On his own, Holmes questions the son. It turns out the son is in the middle of a weird love triangle. He has a secret wife, who has a secret husband, who's actually her real husband, which is lucky for him, because now he doesn't have a secret wife, so he can marry his beloved Miss Turner. When did Sherlock Holmes become a love expert? Holmes examines the crime scene. Most of the footprints are still visible on the muddy ground. Holmes runs around looking at everything. He finds the rock that was used to commit the murder, and he tells Lestrade the murderer is a tall, left-handed man with a limp, who carries a penknife and a holder for Indian cigars. Lestrade laughs and Holmes is offended. He basically says, "Fine, if you won't arrest the murderer, then I'll just leave." Holmes later calls Lestrade an imbecile for not following up on his great information. But really, did Holmes expect Lestrade to drop everything and immediately arrest someone without any explanation or evidence? I don't think Lestrade is the foolish one here. It wouldn't have taken long for Holmes to prove his point either. He found a cigar stump nearby, which was clearly used in a holder and cut with a penknife. He knows the killer put more weight on the left leg, because the left footprints are always more distinct than the right ones. He knows the killer is tall, based on how far apart the footsteps are, and he knows the killer's left-handed because they hit the left side of the victim's head when attacking from behind. Those are all reasonable deductions based on evidence which Holmes could have provided to the police instead of insulting the police for not accepting his word without question. Now for the solution. Holmes deduces the culprit is Australian because cooee is an Australian sound, and a rat sounds like the Australian town of Ballarat. So it's impossible to solve this mystery unless you have some familiarity with Australian slang and geography. I wonder how many people knew this information before reading the story. I certainly did not. Since the culprit's Australian, that means he must be Mr. John Turner. Turner confesses the truth. He committed murder because the victim was blackmailing him for years, and he was really mad about the love drama with their kids. Turner is dying of diabetes. He writes a deathbed confession. Holmes takes this as evidence to be used as a last resort in the son's murder trial. Luckily, it never has to be used. Holmes helps the defense clear the son of all charges, so he can marry Miss Turner and live happily ever after, never knowing his father-in-law killed his father. The end. Post-story follow-up. I didn't like this mystery. It is impossible to solve without specialized knowledge that isn't in the story itself. It's sort of like that Encyclopedia Brown mystery, which you can't solve unless you know the names of obscure towns in Texas. I came here to read a mystery, not take a geography quiz. I asked my followers, and most of them said no, you can't reasonably expect most readers to know that information. 37% think the audience would have known the information in 1891 when the story was originally written. So maybe it's just one of those things in the Sherlock Holmes stories which have not stood the test of time. Here's another one. The story takes it for granted that men shave by windows. And so, when Holmes notices Watson's shaving is better on one side than the other, he concludes Watson's bedroom window is on the right-hand side. I wonder why Watson doesn't turn to the left when shaving the left side of his face. Turning around is not that difficult. I would turn my body halfway rather than go outside so badly shaven that even my best friend gives me grief for it. This is the first of the Holmes stories that I don't like, mainly because it was impossible for me to solve. The gray coat was a weird red herring, as was the love triangle, but there are things to like about the story, such as the first appearance of Lestrade, Holmes tackling his first murder, and him examining the crime scene was interesting to see. So I give Sherlock Holmes' The Boscombe Valley Mystery a sideways thumbs up.